So that's what came out of the tank, which was just CLR bathed. This tank, the inside of the tank that I just bought for a lot of money, had rust in it, which I was very pissed about. So I hit up the guy. I was like, dude, you really sell me a $400 gas tank used that had rust in it? He's like, oh, get ready to send it back. And I'm like, dude, no. What's going to happen is I'm going to leave you bad feedback because this is ridiculous. You didn't say anything about rust in the tank, and you charged me way over what you should have for a rusty tank. So anyways, that's what it looks like after a CLR bath. It is, I mean, I hate to say it, and I know everybody kind of disagrees with me, but CLR cleans all the rust out of the tank. It just does. It does a great job of it. Always has. Let me see if I can get you in there a little bit closer. See? It's just a little bit of rust flakes in there now, all the way down to pot metal. So at this point I would just clean the tank a few more times with a water bath and then spray some WD-40 inside of it now that I got all the rust out, and let it sit for a day or two, and then I would go ahead and hook all my rubbers back up. As you can see, I took the rubbers off that one. I'm currently stripping the other gas tank right now. Alright, even though the sun's really bright right now, we're going to cover this. So, if you guys remember, I was dealing with a lot of carburetor issues with that GS500. That 2007 GS500 only had 5,000 miles on it. It was like, this thing should not be running like this. It should be running really good. A gas tank later, a new used gas tank, because the one that I had pinholes all through it, and it was just rusting out really, really bad. I solved the fuel delivery issue. Then I could not, for the life of me, get the thing to run right, no matter what I did to the carbs. So I ordered a second set of carbs, another $500. So the gas tank was $500, and I ordered another set of carbs used from a 2004 GS500F off a running bike. Could not. Both carburetors were having the identical problem of backfiring or lean sneeze or coughing or however you want to say it, sputtering out of the carb, lean sneezing. All of those will work, right? Popping out of the carb, another term used for that. I could not figure out why. There, you know, Suzuki did this weird thing with the GSF, the GS500Fs. They put all these extra tie-ins and vacuum lines and pre-air injection and all this just crap that is unneeded to make carburetors work. Pairing systems and just so much extra baloney, right? Now, I live in Florida, so this is okay for me to do this. If you live in a state that has emissions controls and EGR stuff, you won't be able to do this. You'll have to go through the entire system until you figure out which problem is. I finally gave up. Rebuilt the carbs, bought 2 rebuild kits, rebuilt the carbs, still had the lean sneeze. I sprayed everything and could not find a vacuum leak for the life of me. For whatever reason, I kept getting popping out of the carb really bad. It was just sucking hard, didn't want to take fuel. It was just having all sorts of problems. The slides were not activating at the same time, so the vacuum was just off. It was off for no apparent reason. It was just off. Like, they were not synchronized in the slightest. They were all over the map. So, what did I do? I replaced the vacuum slides. Didn't solve the problem. Rebuilt the carburetors. Didn't solve the problem. Bought new used carburetors off a running bike. Didn't solve the problem. Same problem existed. So, how did I fix this problem? Well, Dan gave up. I finally just gave up and said, you know what? I'm not going to try to get the original system working. What I am going to do is delete all of the EGR, pairing system, all the emissions control crap. I'm taking all of it off the bike. I'm going to plug all the things with vacuum holes. If I can block it off, I will. Blocked it all off. Bam. Bike runs perfect. No issues. Deleted the entire system off the bike. All the emissions control crap gone. Now the bike runs like a top. Both cylinders are both at 200 degrees when running at idle for 10 minutes perfectly. Both headers are pulling in at exactly the same temperature. If the left one says 650 degrees, the right one is within a tolerance temperature of about 2 to 3 degree difference. Solved everything by deleting the emissions control pairing system on the bike, taking out all the EGR stuff and just blocking it. What a pain in the ass that was. I don't think I ever would have tracked down the real issue or the cause of it. I could have probably replaced the entire EGR system and still would have had a problem. So I just took it all off, deleted all of it. Now I'm running an aftermarket airbox. I've got it, both of my carbs are turned 2.5 turns out. I have base synced the carbs on the bench with a piece of paper. So I put the paper in there and I set each butterfly to exactly the same on both sides until I felt a little drag on the piece of paper that was in there. So both carbs are bench synced at 2.5 turns, and now the bike runs like a top. No more lean sneezing, no more backfiring out of the carbs, nothing. Prior to this, I could not get the carbs to sync whatsoever because one was running 400 degrees or 330 degrees on the header, and the other one was running 800 degrees. It was like it was taking all the potential of the bike. So the bike was just out of whack. It didn't know what was going on because the pairing system and the whole EGR system wasn't working properly. So by deleting all of it, it allowed the exact same vacuum flow across each one to do exactly what it was designed to do. Pull air through there, through the Venturi system, and activate every part of the carb like it should. Each side was getting the exact amount of what it needed. Both carb slides are going up perfectly in sync now. There's no popping, there's no weird stuff. The bike hits hard. It is a happy bike. So if you're chasing a problem like I was and just cannot figure out what the lean sneeze and the popping out of the carb is, okay, I would suggest, if possible in your area, if legal to do, just remove the entire EGR system off of the bike. Plug all the lines, all the vacuum lines with, you know, I still need one from the carb intake boot to go back down to the vacuums petcock, obviously, because that's what draws the fuel and then pushes it up into the system. But man, oh man, just what a nightmare. I've been chasing this problem now for almost 3 weeks, and God, I stayed up all night some nights just researching and researching, trying to find anybody else that was dealing with this problem there. And the weird part is a lot of people were dealing with it but never solved it. They just gave up, right? They were just like, I'm done with this bike, I'm gonna get rid of it. I kept at it until I was just like, you know what, this has to be something EGR related. It has to be something to do with the pairing system. You know, I can't get those replacement parts. You cannot buy the replacement parts for the EGR system. They just don't offer it. Suzuki doesn't offer it. So it was like the only thing left available to me at this point was either buy the used parts on eBay, which every time I bought a used part ended up being crap, right? And I'd get my money back on it, or just delete the entire EGR system and just make the system work like a normal carburetor should. Just, that's it. Just a little vacuum from the intake. As it pulls it in, right, it goes through the line, goes back down to the vacuum, bam, both slides are getting the exact same vacuum. There's no extra outline, extra lines running out anywhere, nothing. Nothing. The bike runs perfect now. I will show you guys what I did in a video if you want to see it. Okay, I will go ahead and make a video showing you how I deleted the entire EGR system and how you can do it too if it comes down to it, okay? And remember, I just did it the simple way. I just plugged things off and blocked simple stuff. If I think this is going to be a satisfactory system and I check the plugs and neither of them are running lean and both of them are running with a coffee brown color, good to go. So what I'm going to do is go down and get two new spark plugs and pop them in there, and then I'm going to run the bike for a little bit and we're going to see how the plugs look. If they are coffee brown and perfect, I'm going to suggest this to you guys, okay? So the air idle mixture screw is 2.5 turns out, right? 2.5 turns out. Anything more than that, you may as well just rejet the entire system, right? Once you get to that point, it's time to rejet. So anything beyond 2.5. Remember, most of these bikes come lean from the factory, so you can always upjet a little bit, right? It's ideal to upjet a little bit because they run lean. So I believe in the bike right now is 152, 162 main. It's big. It's a big jet size. So I believe. I'll have to look back at that. But if you want me to make a video of how I deleted the entire EGR system because of lean sneezing and just it was just out of whack. It was completely out of whack. The bike had no idea what it was doing. You know what I'm saying? It was just so confused because the pairing system wasn't working properly. For whatever reason, both pairing systems on the carbs, whether it's age, sitting around too long, just failed. The diaphragms failed, whatever failed. Some part failed. So I removed all of it. It doesn't have it. I can go right out there right now, turnkey, and just tap it, and it'll sputter into life and just be a happy bike. I can tell the difference. It's just a happy machine, even with just a base sync. I haven't even hooked it up to my sync kit yet to actually synchronize it. I'm telling you right now, it runs perfect with just a base sync. So if you want me to make a video, I will, showing you how I deleted the EGR system on this bike, because there's no information about it. If I showed you I'll show you the vacuum schematic right here, so you can see how complicated this bullshit system is on a twin, right? That's the vacuum schematic for this bike. That's how much crap, extra crap, was running, and I'm gonna circle all the stuff that I deleted so you can see everything I took off this system, right? Before it would run correctly how it was meant to run. So I hope that helps. If you guys do want a video, I will either make it and post it in the description of the video so you can find it. If nobody does, then there won't be a video down there. If I don't have somebody go, how did you delete the whatever, I won't make the video. But if you're truly interested and somebody actually makes the request, I will go ahead and make that video and show you guys how I deleted the entire EGR system before I put the tank back on and do all that kind of stuff. And it's actually a little simpler than you think it is to do, but there are also some little parts you're gonna have to buy. You need to buy some T-joints, and the reason why you have to buy T-joints is because if you do happen to do a synchronizing, you're gonna have to run a line over to the vacuum petcock and still be hooked up to each tube on the intake boot to synchronize properly. So you still have to make a little sacrifice here and there, but it works well. So if you guys want to see that video, or somebody really needs it, just put the request in. I'll go ahead and make that video and I'll show you how to do it. I don't think there's one video out there showing how to delete the EGR pairing system off of this bike. And trust me, it took me a minute to backtrack everything to make sure that I wasn't going to create an issue anywhere along the lines while deleting things, because if you cut the wrong thing or you delete this and it does have something to do with something else on the bike that it needs, problematic for yourself. So I will show you everything I did, right? Okay, catch you guys on the flip. Don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, do all that wonderfulness, and I'll catch you guys later. Toodles.
Are you sure this is okay? You're in country, dude. Live a little. Now she's pretty sensitive, so go easy on the throttle, okay? All right.